Hi everybody and welcome back. Glad to be here. It's been a long time since I made a video. I've been real busy, but some of you have asked a few questions, so I'm going to try to address that. Some of you were asking about blood pressure, about allergies, and about anemia. What about somebody who can't keep their iron? So first thing, well, let me introduce myself to those of you that don't know me. My name is Linda, and I'm a naturopathic doctor, certified health specialist, and I have an associate's degree in health sciences. Continuing my studies through Dr. Morse's, can't remember what it's called now, but a detoxification clinic, and I continue to learn. So I've been practicing for I've been advising, not practicing. I've been advising and helping people with their health for 10 years. Learned a lot, made some mistakes in the past. And so basically, I have learned a lot over the last 10 years, and I'm sharing with you what you can do to help yourselves achieve health and wellness. You have to be the one to take responsibility for your health. And my website, which is coming soon, and these videos are for people who are self-determined, people who take responsibility for themselves, and who have good intuition and good insight. So glad you're here. Please share this with your friends so that they can learn too. I do have a couple of accounts. I have one with Elevate and one with Full Script, where everyone gets a percentage off of your orders, and that's how I support myself. I have chosen certain brands, and if you look under my accounts, you can see the brands that I choose, and the reason I choose them is because I know that they're quality and they are not contaminated. Okay, they're either organic or consciously cultivated, or where they go out and in the wild crafted. So you don't want to buy something where people are using fertilizers and synthetic things, because that's not the best for you. And then they package it, and you also don't want something that has a certain trademark and all that, because that's just hype, guys. That's just a way for them to make money, and they tell you that it's better for you and it works better, but in the long run it really doesn't, because God made the food for you. He made these plants, and he made your herbs and things like that perfect for your body. So to heal yourself takes longer. Of course, when you go to the doctor, you get a prescription, and it helps with symptoms, but in the long run, it's not making you better. It's more times than not, it's making you worse. So first and foremost is your food. So certain foods create an environment in your body that deteriorates you, and certain foods create an environment in your body that help build and repair. So mostly the foods that do that are your fruits. Fruits are the number one. They're the best ones for cleaning and repairing. And then next are your vegetables, okay? But never cooked, because I shouldn't say never, because there might be one or two cases where a food is actually still in an alkaline state after it's cooked, but most of the time, no. Because when you put heat to something, you cause it to stick together. Just think about sugar. Let's say you're making candy. What does it do? It binds everything together, right? And so that's what heating your food does, and that's why it's coagulating also in your body. Okay, so anyway, let's talk first of all about blood pressure. Why would someone have high blood pressure? Well, when you understand that your body has trillions of cells, and 2 fluids, okay? You have trillions of cells and 2 fluids. You have your vascular system, which carries your blood, and you have your lymphatic system that carries the waste away and is the biggest part of your immune system. Okay, now the lymphatic system is primarily a cholesterol-based system. So, like, for instance, when you get a pimple or a sore or something, what comes out of it as it's healing? Yeah, if you cut deep enough, you're going to get some blood. But mostly a pimple or something like that is white, right? And that's your lymphatic system. That's your white blood cells, and that's your cholesterol-based. Okay, the thinner it is, the better. Okay, so if it gets really thick and hard, you know that your lymphatic system is coagulating and it needs some support. So when you think about that, and you're thinking about your cells in your body, so your blood feeds your cells have all these hundreds and thousands of things that it does every second of every day. And in that process, like when you put fuel in your car and it goes through the engine and the carburetor, and it creates energy for your car to move, and then it goes out the exhaust system. So basically, your each and every cell of yours has something what's called the Krebs cycle, which creates ATP. I'm sure most of you have heard of that, but that has to the exhaust basically of your cells producing this energy has to go somewhere, and it does not go back to the blood, because the blood has to be within a certain pH range. It has to be around 7.4. So your body has to have a way to get rid of all this, and that is your lymphatic system. And what they find is that your lymphatic system basically is really close to your blood, so all your blood vessels. And you have these pockets everywhere called your lymph nodes, and that's where your macrophages and a lot of your lymphatic, your immune system cells are. So that's why when you get a pimple or whatever, you see the pus, okay? That's your macrophages, that's your lymphatic system doing its job and getting and killing bacteria, okay? So if you want to kill bacteria, you want to get rid of these bad germs, you have to have enough bacteria, the kind of bacteria, the macrophages and the things that your body produces, to eat away at the bad things. Okay, so that's one reason why antibiotics are not good for you. But when you take something in natural, the way God created and intended us to do, like echinacea, for instance, Echinacea purpurea, Echinacea augustifolia are the best ones, and it's the root. Those are the ones that are good immune modulators. So if you have a lot of inflammation, it won't make it worse, but it will remove and help the immune system do what it needs to do. So that's just one instance. So when you think about that, and the fact that every cell has a membrane that is also made of cholesterol in your membranes. So if you have a system of cells, every part of your body, you have all kinds of different cells, right? You have skin cells, you have liver cells, you have kidney cells, you have your bone cells, you have all these. Well, all of these have these fluids around them called interstitial fluids. These fluids go back and forth from the cell to the lymph and to the blood, okay? Well, what happens when these cholesterol in your lining becomes hard? When your lymphatic system starts backing up and getting congested and thick because it is too acidic from eating acid-ash foods, hamburgers and French fries and all the things that we love, milk, Okay, very, very congesting. What happens when you drink milk? You get congested. Singers are told don't drink milk before you sing because it causes mucus, okay? So, well, these mucuses, most of the time, are, anytime you pasteurize anything, you've changed the structure, okay? So, and even unpasteurized is going to cause an issue because it's just a mucus forming food. So when we're continually bringing in these types of foods, if our kidneys are not functioning correctly, and if we're not getting rid of it, well, it starts to get thick in your lymphatic system. That's why you get lumps under your arms and your breasts, in your lymph nodes by your legs, and all these different places. Sometimes way up even in here, you've got lymph nodes in your head, believe it or not. They found, the University of West Virginia found a lymph system in the brain just a couple years ago, and then before that, another lady found what she called the glymphatic system, which is, basically a lymph system in your brain. So these things get clogged, it gets thick and clogged, and then your vessels of your blood vessels, which are also cells, get hardened also. So that's what's called hardening of the arteries, okay? And if you are thick there, then your blood has a harder time moving through. You need fluidity and you need to be loose. So that could be one reason why you would have high blood pressure. Another reason that I know of is that maybe your blood is starting to thicken. Okay, if it's thicker, that means your heart has to pump harder, right? So hardening of the lining of the artery, okay, it doesn't move. Blood has to, and sometimes if it starts getting clogged around the edges and sticking, because let's say this is your artery, your blood vessel. Okay, so you have those lymph, you have the cholesterol and the fats that go around are involved. They're called bilipid layers. So you have basically two lipids, which are fats. In here, this gets hard, okay? After a while it gets hard, this is rigid, okay? And then it starts coating the inside, and the space gets smaller and smaller, so your blood vessels your heart is having to push harder to get the blood through. So that would be one reason. Another reason could be that your adrenal glands are not functioning well. Your adrenal glands produce steroids that are involved in the electrical, your brain, your neurons, and all that electrical stuff. So that could be an issue. Your heart fires, right? So they put EKGs on the heart to check how well your heart is firing, the response of the electricity that's going through. Our bodies are electrical, and that runs your nervous system. So just think, if you are constantly having fight or flight, which is related to your adrenal glands, and steroids that are being produced, well, if you're always anxious, right, we know that causes high blood pressure. Also, if your liver is congested, that could be. So what are you going to do? So it's always, you guys, think of it like this. It's not as complicated as people in white coats want you to think. And I'm not talking about good doctors. I'm talking about the people who make money because you're going to your doctor and getting prescriptions, and the people who are doing these labs, and they're coming up with all these diseases because they want a new reason to make another medicine. Okay, health is simple. You have cells, two fluids, and two systems. Basically, you have your blood that feeds your system. You have your cells that are doing the work, and you have your lymphatic system that has to get rid of the bad stuff. And if any of that stuff is not working, and you're not, or if your digestive system, which we're going to go over here in a minute, if that's not functioning, then that's the problem. Okay, so what do we do to make this healthy? We have to unclog everything, and we have to get rid of the bad stuff. We have to feed the body correctly and let it rebuild. And that's just health. That's all there is to it. So those are the things you want to think about with high blood pressure. Now let's talk about anemia. If somebody is always having to take an iron or any kind of nutrient, whether it be a B12 or a D or whatever, why would you have to do that if your body is supposed to produce everything? And are you doing yourself any good by taking these things? Because when you give your body something that it's supposed to make anyway, why would it need to make it? Isn't it like it's like a muscle? So your muscles will atrophy if you don't use them, right? They lose their strength, they atrophy because you're not using them anymore. It's the same thing with your body. If you're constantly giving it something that it can make or should be making on its own, why does it need to do that? Okay, so if you're doing that and you want to change that, it takes a while. Okay, oftentimes it can take a while. If you've been on something for years and years and years, then you have to reverse that. And maybe in the case of an iron, you want to take something that is made from herbs, okay, a high vegetable iron for a while, and until you can heal. So the reasons we would not be able to absorb nutrients or are not making our own, because there are certain things that your body makes of its own. Well, one thing would be your digestion you're malabsorbed. Okay, so obviously if you're not breaking down your foods, not your pancreas, you're not creating the digestive enzymes, it's not going to break down. And that creates a whole big, everything rolls down from there, right? If you've been eating foods that are congesting, that stick together, like just think about cheese, how it just pulls apart and it's all sticky and stuff. Well, what do you think it does in your body if you're not able to break that down? It's going to coat your intestines. Same thing with, you think about bread and gluten. Gluten is sticky. Glue, that's what they make glue out of. Gluten, okay? Sticky. It's going to coat your intestines and you won't be able to absorb. And also, you have lymphatic ducts in your intestines. So the same thing there. If you're having polyps, or what medical community calls polyps, or any kind of a growth or whatever, that's stagnation. That's your body is it's those lymph nodes that are stagnant, and after a while these acids that are stagnant and just sitting there are burning away your tissue. So that's destroying tissue, and that's what the medical community would call cancer. Okay, so that would be one reason why a person would be low in iron. So they're malabsorbed, they're not digesting. Another reason could be that your adrenal glands are not functioning properly, because your adrenal glands are involved in making all kinds of different nutrients. So you want to have healthy adrenal glands, and those adrenal glands sit right on top of your kidneys, and they're involved in your kidney function. Your adrenal glands do so many wonderful things, and they're only about the size of a walnut. They sit on top of each one of your kidneys. They're involved in your kidney function. They are involved in neurotransmitters. They're involved in your ability to digest sugar properly and metabolize sugar. So maybe if you're a diabetic, maybe it has nothing to do with your pancreas. It could be that your adrenal glands are not healthy and they're not breaking down your sugars. So you want to think about that. If you're having heavy menstrual cycles, okay, you're losing a lot of blood there. Okay, so you're going to be losing a lot of blood and anemic every month. Okay, so why do we have heavy menstrual cycles? Well, there could be a lot of different reasons. Your pituitary, your hypothalamus might need support. You could be high in estrogen, which is an acidic hormone, and your body is trying to get rid of that, right? It cleans this out. Detoxification helps with that, but you also, like I said, you have to look at the hormones. Your adrenal glands are involved in hormone production. Then you have the pituitary and the hypothalamus, which are in the brain, and they're like the messengers that tell you when to make hormones. They're related to your thyroid, your adrenal glands, your ovaries, the gonads. So anyway, those things. Okay, let's talk about allergies. You guys wanted to talk about allergies. So again, we're going back to the lymph system. So your immune system. In your immune system, you have mucosa, what the body calls mucosa, where you have these little porous areas that send out mucus. Okay, so you think of your eyes. What happens when you're out and you get in the forest or whatever, or you're mowing the yard or whatever, your eyes start itching, you start getting all this stuff. Well, your body, that's your lymph system, is doing its job. It's sending out those immune cells, and it's meant to clean out things. So getting it out is good. But the problem is that if you're having allergies all the time, that means that your body is just backed up. And you need to, here we go again, it needs to be cleaned out. You got to clean out all that stuff. When I was a kid, I had bad allergies, and then, because I didn't know. And then even as an adult, when I would go out and jog or run, sometimes my face would swell from, I guess, pollen or whatever that was in the air. There was even a time I had to go to the hospital because my face is swollen. Well, I've been on this cleaning my body out. I'm still not 100% where I want to be. Okay, I'm still involved in the process, just like you guys are. We're always in a process, right? Building, cleaning and building, cleaning and building, cleaning and building. That's just the process. But anyway, now I go out and I mow my yard, right? The dust is blowing because I'm in the country now, and it barely even affects me. I've had one time where I came in and I had to sneeze and blow my nose and take a shower, get it all out of my hair and stuff, and I was fine right after that. So the thing about allergies is to clean out your system, and the more you clean, the less and less you'll have that. And that's the same way with oh gosh, I can't think of what it is. When you're having trouble breathing. Okay, so you have allergies, that's mucus, that's your adrenal glands that are controlling the lungs. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Look at my on my Facebook page right now. I've got a link to the big four, okay, which are your liver, your kidneys, your adrenal glands, and your pancreas. So I hit all 4 of those areas to help you. Those are the basics that everybody should, that I believe everyone should support. Now then, if you're really, really ill and you got more going on, you're in a lot of pain, you have, you know, a lot of congestion, like we were talking about earlier in your things, you need to do more. If you're backed up in your digestive tract, you need to have the fiber that I suggest on there in my Elevate account, because it cleans the walls. You need to support your pancreas so you can digest, and eat your fruits and your vegetables. Your fruits, the reason I like the fruits higher than the vegetables is because everything has a vibrational energy in it, just like your nervous system does, just like you do. Okay, if your energy is low, you need higher energy to heal. Okay, so your fruits are higher in the energy department. They also are astringents, which means they will begin to pull away that mucoid plaque. They will start loosening up your lymph nodes and pulling away. So your diet is number 1. You can take supplements for the rest of your life. They will help you feel better. But if you want to get well, then you have to eat right, and then you add the supplements on top of that. Okay, so eating is your number 1 thing. Vegetables are about half the amount of energy as the fruits, and they don't have the pulling and the astringent properties that your fruits have. So anybody who is having any kind of nerve issues, you want that extra energy, because that's the only way the nerve cells are going to get well. The vegetables don't have that. Okay, so hey, you guys, send me your questions. Send me the photos of your eye. I'm going to show you. This one is pretty good. We had talked about this one already. You can see it's a little bit covered up here. Try not to do that, but get close and a good clear one where I can see the details. Here you can see this person has lots of acids build up. You cannot even see the lines. See, my goal is to be able to see all the little fibers that go up in the eye. If I can't see the fibers, then it really doesn't do me a lot of good to see the eye. I mean, there's still some things that I can see, but I can tell a lot. If you're not able to get a photo of your eye and send it to me, then if you give me your history, your health history, we can talk about it. I'll talk about it on a video, okay? You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and please share this. Send your information to linda.wells.naturopath@gmail.com, and that's Linda, Linda, Wells, WELLS, naturopath, NATUROPATH @gmail.com. Thanks.